Mike here at the Royal Jam Studios, and if you saw part one of why if you play guitar you can play anything with a string, you saw a whole bunch of different instruments all tuned differently. I'm going to go over how you can convert what you know about guitar into any instrument that has strings. Here we go. Get some paper and pencil. We're going to go fast. So the first instrument that most guitarists go to is an electric bass. And this is really an electric bass guitar tuned E, A, D, G. Now, when you tune a bass, you're tuning it an octave lower than a guitar, but otherwise it's pretty much the same thing. And so where all your notes are is where all your notes are on a guitar. You just only have the first four strings. Keep in mind that a 5-string bass adds an extra low B string, and a 6-string bass has that B string plus an extra high C string. They're not tuned anything like a guitar. And so when you start talking about bass, you're really thinking about the first 4 strings, and then everything's transposed down a fourth or up a fourth to give you the extra high and the extra lows. The extra lows are maybe helpful. The extra highs for a bass, that's kind of like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Alright, so now if you take a guitar and you take a capo and you put it right on the 5th fret, right there, what you're going to get on the last 4 strings, your 4 thin strings, is going to be a G, C, E, A. That G, C, E, A at the 5th fret on a guitar is what a ukulele is tuned to. So if we think of the ukulele as just being a guitar at the 5th fret, then all your regular chords will work. It's just that they're going to be transposed up those 5 frets. So an E becomes an A, and a D becomes a G. That's a G chord on a ukulele, looks like a D chord on a guitar. That's a C chord on a ukulele, looks like a G chord on a guitar, but those other 2 strings are missing. So you can just play a uke like a guitar if you think of it as the 5th fret. Okay, let's talk mandolin, and also violins are tuned G, D, A, E. And because of that, you can think of that E, A, D, G as your guitar backwards, which means that if you reverse the chords in your head, the same shapes but backwards, the beginning of a G chord is a G chord. The beginning of a C chord is a C chord. And you're thinking from the bass, it's the same shape in a mirror. And actually, a good trick if you want to play mandolin as a guitar player is to get a mirror, put it in front of you, and you'll see things a little differently. Because if you hold it like this, you start to think of this high string as your low string, and so you're just reversing it in your head. Talk about the lute for a minute. Now, some of you wrote to me and said, oh, lutes had 6 strings or 8 strings or 12 strings, and there's pictures of Baroque lutes. Understand something. Prior to the 20th century, there was no standard tuning. So, yeah, they kind of had different tunings for different players. Even violinists tuned differently depending on what they were playing, kind of like you guys do now with the guitar. So, think about it more like if you tune the thing more or less like a guitar in some way, there's an easy way to translate it. And if it's not the traditional Baroque tuning of G, C, F, A, D, G, which in itself is the first 5 strings of the guitar, just transposed up 3 frets, you really can just translate it any way you like because it's more about the sound you're trying to get, right? When you play an instrument, it's about the sound you're trying to get. Hey, look, in my next installment, I'm going to deal with fretless instruments and your fear of fretless. We'll solve that for you in the next episode. Stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the subscribe or the like button. And thanks for your support of Real Human Music.